if you are over 50, I think I have some great products for you to try that created this fall makeup look. Fall is my absolute favorite time of the year, and I woke up this morning with a totally different video idea in mind, and I just felt compelled to create a fall makeup look today. So the majority of the products that I have are drugstore. There's a few products sprinkled in here that are Sephora products, but where I can, I'll usually show you a drugstore alternative that I enjoy as well. So if you're curious to see what products I use to create this fall look, then let's get into it. So as we transition into the fall season, I find my skin starts to become a little bit drier. So one of the products that I like to use as a quick primer is the Covergirl Priming Glow Mist. This gives me a beautiful, healthy glow to the skin, but I like the convenience that it's just a little pump spray, dries very quickly. So I always give it a little bit of a shake. And you can see how radiant my skin looks with just this product. It does have vitamin C in it, which helps with that radiance and that glowiness. And it also has rose water in it. So it does have a bit of a fragrance. So if you are sensitive to fragrances, then you may want to skip this one. I like it because it doesn't leave my skin overly tacky at all. And it's a great product that you can also use as a refresher throughout the day. So the new color corrector that I've been using recently, and I've really been enjoying using it, is the one by Morphe. It's the Wakeup Artist Color Corrector. I have this one in the shade Peach, but I've been using it behind the scenes, really trying to gather my thoughts on it. It really does help neutralize that darkness under my eye. And it never leaves my under eye area looking dry at all, like it's quite creamy. Now I usually just apply it right into the corner where I'm the darkest, but I used a little bit too much, so we're just going to go all the way underneath the eye. What the heck? So you can see it's quite a beautiful peachy shade. And I believe it comes in 4 other shades for different skin tones. So I do want to just let those products sit on my face before we start going in with the other complexion products. So one of my favorite things about fall is creating fun eyeshadow looks. Now, one of my go-to eyeshadow palettes, what I believe it was from last year, was by Alter Ego. This was my go-to daylight palette. So pretty. Thought it was a perfect fall color story. Well, they recently came out with a new eyeshadow palette, which is beautiful for fall. They have come through again. So this is the Alter Ego Sunlit Dreams eyeshadow palette. Well, look at the fall vibe you've got there. Like it's just gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous. And they've created some beautiful shades with this palette. Now, if you're not familiar with Alter Ego, they usually have eyeshadow palettes that are great alternatives to higher end palettes. Now, when I looked online, it looks like it's an alternative to the Natasha Denona I Need a Warm palette. I usually don't have Natasha Denona palettes. They stopped selling them here in Canada, so it does make it a little bit difficult for us to get them here. I will put just a picture of it, what it looks like. So apparently that is what this one was created to replicate. So I thought I have to use this today. This is total fall vibes. Now the nice thing about Alter Ego as well is they are affordable. This palette runs $22 American. The packaging is beautiful. It does have a nice mirror inside as well. The formula is amazing. It does have a mixture of mattes and shimmers. And with it being a neutral, warm-toned eyeshadow palette, I thought that was perfect. That's what screams fall to me. So this shade right here is called Soft, and that's what I'm going to go in as my transition shade. The shades that I'm using, I will swatch them for you. So we're going to start off with that shade right there. It's a really soft peach color, and I'm using the 201. This is just a fluffy eyeshadow brush. It's perfect for picking up product and just doing like a couple of swipes of the product on the eye. I like how it makes quick work because it's a big fluffy brush. One thing you'll find about Alter Ego eyeshadow is there is basically no fallout. Like I don't think I ever have any fallout from using one of their eyeshadow palettes. They blend in easily. There's some eyeshadow palettes out there that it's sometimes a bit of a struggle to get it all blended in, but these are so creamy. I do prefer when I'm using powder eyeshadow palettes to do my eyes first, and then I'll go in after and do my face. So the next shade we're going to go in with is called Rustic, which is that one right there. And it looks like that. It's like a dark chocolate brown. And for that one, I'm going to use the A502 brush. This is a bit more of a definition brush because I want to concentrate this right on the outer edge, and then I'm just going to put it right above my crease. And one thing about these eyeshadow palettes also is you don't need a lot of product. They're very pigmented, so the color payoff is amazing in that way. I just want to add a little bit of definition to the outer edge of the eye. And then I'm just going to apply right above the crease area. So I want the eye area to look more awake. And even though there is, so many people out there that say, don't use shimmer on your eyes, especially when you are a mature skin. I can't help it. I always love applying a little bit of shimmer on my eyes. So this is the shade called Twinkle. Very pretty. And I'm not sure if it'll show up on the camera, but it is right here. You can kind of see it. Now how I apply these type of shades is I just use my finger, take a little bit on, usually my index finger, and where I apply it is just on the inner part of my eye and then right to the middle. Now you can certainly skip this part if you do not want shimmer on your eye. I just think it kind of opens the eye up a little bit and just gives it a little bit of sparkle. If you're somebody that doesn't like to use eyeliner, but you want something on your eyes to replace that, one of the tricks that I do is use eyeshadow as my eyeliner. So the shade I'm going to use is this very dark one right here. It's like a dark, rich brown. It's called Toast. And then I take an angled brush. This is the BK Beauty 208 brush. Always tap off. Run the brush right close to the lash line. And it leaves a really soft line and just helps the eye have a little bit more definition. But can you see just even that slight difference between this eye and this eye? It just gives a softness, but it's not a harsh like eyeliner line. So I love doing that. It's a quick, easy, simple way to give a little bit of fullness to the eye. So I'm going to stop at the eyes at this point, and I'm going to start applying my complexion products. So that primer now has had time to sit, but leaves that beautiful radiance on the skin. So the foundation that I'm going to use today is a favorite. It has been around forever. I think it's a lovely foundation for the fall. It's not a heavyweight foundation. It feels very light on the skin. The one I'm talking about today is the L'Oreal The True Match. Like I said, been around forever. You'll have to excuse it's dirty because I use this one a lot. I have it in the shade 2.N, which is vanilla. And I'm not sure if those shades are specific for Canada, but I'll try and link the one that I think is comparable to this one. This one is, I'm going to say, very, very blendable. The appearance is very natural looking. This did go through a packaging change a few years ago. I like this one better because it has the pump on it, whereas the old style bottle was that little bottle that poured out. You can see it is a little bit more on the runnier side, but not overly runny. So I'm just going to apply it on one side, and I'll show you how beautiful the coverage is. With this foundation, I do prefer to use a brush with it, and this one is the 101 foundation brush from BK Beauty. I always start in the center of my face and work my way out. Let me know in the comments if this is a foundation that you have used. I think for the fall, I prefer just to have a little bit more coverage than I did in the summertime, but not too much because my skin still has a little bit of a tan from being in the sun. That is one thing I did forget to mention earlier is I do have all my skin products were on before I came on camera, and that included sunscreen. I find it's one of those foundations that I don't need a lot of to give me just an even skin tone. But if you are somebody that wants a little bit more coverage, then you can certainly build it up. So this is one pump and this half of my face done. But it does a great job, like I said, of evening out my skin tone. Looks very healthy, radiant. It's not like a really dewy foundation. I'm going to say it's more of like a satiny finish, but it's not drying. It is a type of foundation that doesn't settle all into my fine lines. It does have hyaluronic acid in it, so that helps with the moisture level. So I think it's a perfect foundation for the fall. The concealer that I'm using today is the Lancome, the Teinte Ultra Wear All Over Concealer. As many concealers as I use and try out, drugstore, high-end, this still has to be my absolute favorite concealer. I have used this one so much over the last few years when it first came out, and it is probably one of my most repurchased concealers. I may not show it all the time in videos because I think at the very beginning when I started using this, I was using it in every makeup tutorial. I've tried to use other concealers, but I still come back to this one. And I'll just do the one side to show you the coverage. I'm using the 114 BK Beauty brush. Now the unique thing about this brush is it's dual-sided. So the lighter fibers on there are what you use to blend in the concealer. And then on the other side are darker fibers. And that's what you use if you want to set it with powder. But it's just an alternative to other concealer brushes. It makes quick work of blending your concealer in because it is such a bigger brush. But it does fit nicely under the eye area. And that's the other reason, I know I mentioned it in lots of videos, but that's the other reason why I sometimes leave my face products till after I've done my eyes. That way I can kind of clean up my eyeshadow if it's come too far down. And then another little trick that I do to ensure that the concealer and the foundation blend in together, I just take a sponge and make sure it's a dampened sponge and just very lightly tap it in. The two shades of these products, of the foundation and the concealer, work well together. Like this foundation and this concealer are amazing together. I forgot to say this is in the shade 215, but when I come close to you guys, you can see how well the color corrector and the concealer have neutralized all that darkness under my eyes. This is a fantastic concealer for mature skin. It doesn't settle into any of my fine lines that I have. It just gives a smoothness to under the eye area. The formula is amazing. I think it's a great concealer for the fall season. I think it does really help ensure that my under eye area stays hydrated because that becomes more dry as well as we start getting into more fall and winter. So I love a hydrating concealer. So I still look luminous under the eye area, and this one delivers. Now you can certainly skip this next step if you are somebody that doesn't put product under their eye. I always like to have a little bit of something. So I'm going to take a mix of the shade Soft and also a little bit of Rustic. And I just run that under my lower lash line and helps frame the eyes. I love this Rephr 03 brush. It is the perfect little pencil brush to really get in under that lower lash line. And I always give my lashes a bit of a curl using my Rephr eyelash curler. Really gives some lift to the lashes. Now, if you're familiar with my channel, you know I absolutely love, love, love tubing mascaras. I have been using a drugstore one, which I'll show you that one in a second. But I recently discovered one from Sephora. Now, when I usually pick up mascaras that are a little bit more expensive, I try and get trial sizes or like little sample sizes. So this is a smaller version of the Too Faced Ribbon Wrapped Lash Mascara. 4.7 mils or 0.16 fluid ounces. But I think it's a great alternative if you have a few mascaras on the go As much as I use mascaras, I find sometimes I just don't get through all the product. By the time it sometimes will start having a little bit of a smell to it, or if I notice that it starts flaking on me or becomes dry, then that I know that's time to toss it. I think mascara you're supposed to be tossing every 4 months or so anyhow, because it is one of the products that you're using so close to your eye. And having an eye infection would not be something I am into. So this little size of mascara I think is perfect, and it's great for travel. Now, a few things that I've noticed about this mascara: it really does give my lashes some volume and really helps lift the lash. It's not an overly wet mascara, but I love how easy it removes because it's a tubey mascara. There is a full-size version of this, but I like to try these out, and if I like it, then I will purchase the full size. But this really does give incredible length. The formula feels soft on the lashes. You can build it up. It doesn't get all clumpy. It doesn't flake on me. So this is just one coat. Like, what a difference. It doesn't smudge. So if you can see right on the top of the wand, there's little extra bristles on the top, and those help get right into the inner corners, because I have like little tiny lashes in the very corner. I think tubey mascaras are the way to go for mature lashes. They remove easy. It's just so gentle. You don't have to tug on the eye trying to remove the product. And these bristles are actually quite soft. They don't feel, I guess the word I'm looking for is spiky. Like, they don't feel overly spiky. If you're somebody like me that is struggling right now with your lashes, or your lashes are short, or if your lashes are really fine or straight, look at the volume and thickness that this mascara is giving my lashes. Now, an alternative, which you guys I'm sure are familiar with, if you've even watched some of my last few videos, one of my go-tos for a drugstore tubey mascara is the one by Milani. This also is a fantastic mascara. If you want something that's a little bit more affordable, there are a couple of things with this one. I find if I'm comparing the two, this one doesn't give as much length as this one does. This one gives me a little bit more length. And the Milani one is a little bit more wetter. The actual bristles on here are a little bit more spikier. So you do have to be careful if you do accidentally poke yourself in the eye with it. But I think it's a great alternative if you're looking for a drugstore tubing mascara. I have had some other viewers leave me comments, some suggestions of other tubing mascaras from the drugstore. The one I think somebody had mentioned about e.l.f. There's the Lash and Roll. I have used that one in the past, and I just found it did not give me the lengthening I was looking for. And at the end of the day, I did find that one did have a few little flakes under my eye, whereas this one I don't find that at all. There's no flaking, no smudging at the end of the night. Now let's get into bronzer. One of my favorite bronzers to use in the fall, because I love the shade, I love the formula of it, is by NYX. These are the Butter Melt bronzers. The particular shade that I have that I think is fantastic is the Butter Biscuit. They have some really cute names for their products. Now, I love their bronzer, and I also love the blush. This is such a super creamy, rich formula. It really does go on like butter. One of my favorite brushes to use for applying this product is by Rephr. This is the 37 brush. It's so fluffy. I just love it. Very gentle on the skin. I will caution you with this bronzer is you do not need a lot. It's very pigmented. It smells amazing. And I always start high up on my cheek area. But look at how that you saw how much there was very little on my brush and how much is already on my cheek. This does come in a bunch of different shades, so you should be able to find one for your skin tone. But for fall, I always gravitate to more like warmth. I did have some suggestions from a few of my viewers when I asked. This was I guess this was about a month ago. I asked in a video of some suggestions for fall. So one of them was a fall look. So I'll probably do another fall look because I love creating these type of videos. Somebody else had suggested creating an eyeshadow palette, like some of my favorite fall eyeshadow palettes. So let me know if you'd be interested in that. That's always fun to do because I have a lot of eyeshadow palettes. Like I said, like this one in particular by Alter Ego is just beautiful for the fall. It's perfect. So the blush I'm using today is a new find for me, but I love how it is a quick and convenient type of product. It's the Clinique Chubby Stick Cheek Color Balm. The name is called Amped Up Apple, which that just screamed fall to me because that reminds me of like fall vibes of apples. So you just twist it up, but the shade got me. Look at that shade. Isn't that a perfect fall shade? Now what I've been doing with this one is actually applying it directly to my face and then blending it in with a brush. I usually apply blush right on my cheekbone. You can do a little stripe like that. This blends in super, super easy. And I'm just using the BK Beauty. This is the 112 brush. It's a little mini blush brush, but it fits in perfectly onto the cheek area. I honestly think this is just one of those products that is mistake proof. It's so creamy. And I love how it blends in. Look at how easy that was. And you could probably just even use your finger as well. I just go to a brush, but you could just apply it with your finger. It's buildable, and I like how it just creates a healthy looking glow. It does come in a few other shades, but I just love this one. I thought it was just beautiful. So loving this blush lately. I'll show you a drugstore alternative that I have. This is more of a liquid type of product, but you can use it on your cheeks as well as your lips as a tint. And it's the Physicians Formula Diamond Filler Brilliant Peach that I think is great for fall. So there's a Physicians Formula one, so it is a little bit more peachier, whereas that's the Clinique one. But this one also is great for blending in. The staying power is phenomenal. But if you are wanting something more drugstore, then this one is a great one as well. So I was rooting around in my bin looking for the perfect fall lipstick shade to wear. And I have a few to choose from. But the one I landed on for today is the one by L'Oreal. This is the Color Rich Intense Volume Matte Lipstick. Now don't let the word matte scare you. This is actually quite comfortable. It's not like a drying matte lipstick. I have this in the shade, I don't know if I'm going to say it correctly. It's just, I'm going to put the word here. It's Le Mauve Indomitable. I don't know. I'm not saying that right. I know I'm not. So I'll put the name up here. But I think it is such a pretty shade. Perfect for a fall look. It's not a complete red. It has a little bit of pink in it. And I love the design. Like, this is not your traditional bullet lipstick. But my goodness, does this ever stay? I love the slim design. It's perfect for travel. And it fits the lip nicely because it is so small. Look at that rich color. And like I said, it does last a really long time throughout the day. The formula is amazing. It does have hyaluronic acid in it, which is going to help it stay hydrated and not dry. So a really lovely product for us mature ladies, in my opinion. And then I have not stopped wearing this lip oil. It's the new one it's that new one I showed you in my last video. It's the NYX The Fat Lip Drip Oil, but it's in that shade of Chillin' Like a Villain, which it is like perfect for right now. Look at that shade. Like, is that not just the perfect shade? So I've been using it just in the center of my lip. And the combination of these two, it really does look pretty together. It's the perfect amount of sheen and some glossiness to the lips. Isn't that pretty? I love the combination together. So I hope you enjoyed my first fall makeup tutorial. It is my favorite time of year. I absolutely love fall. So I can't wait to try out some other products and come up with some different looks. But I think everything turned out really well. And I'll have the Alter Ego website down in my description box if you want to go check them out. Like I said, they have amazing eyeshadow palettes. And how can you go wrong with that packaging? Just simply gorgeous. All the products that I talked about today will be linked and listed down below in the description box. Oh, and I was going to say I will probably get questions about the nail polish that I'm wearing today. So it is the one by Essie. It's the shade Mismatch to Match. Now I can't remember when I picked this up because I think I picked it up last year. If it was like a limited edition or something like that. So I'll see if I can find it. If I can, I will link it down below as well. I think it's one of my favorite shades for the fall coming up. Don't forget to share, like, and subscribe if you're not already. And as always, I hope everybody has a great week and a great life, and I'll see you all very soon in my next video. Bye!